Nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong right now in your life. I know you've been going back and forth with, I want to create this sort of reality in my own life. I want to stop feeling this way. I want to stop feeling like a victim in my relationships. I want to stop feeling like I'm not good enough for the relationship dynamic that I want. I want to stop feeling like my bank account is defining how I live my life. I want to stop feeling guilty about how I spend my money because of what the numbers say in my bank account. I'm going to try to keep my examples specific. So, I'm going to be using the specific example of relationships just to make things easier. So, a lot of times when people are trying to kind of strip away these old ideas and these old beliefs about life or whatever it is that they're relating to, in our case, relationships for this example. And I am going to keep moving my phone because it keeps falling, so just don't mind that. Pay attention to what I'm saying, okay? So, you do all of these things, you listen to all of these gurus, try out these techniques that get you in the mental state, yes, I'm worthy of a relationship. I'm worthy of a healthy, loving relationship where they adore me. They worship the ground I walk on. They cater to me. I'm so attracted to them. It flourishes every day, what we have. So you're doing all that. And you're coming from a state where you're used to feeling abandoned, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like you have to look a certain way, feeling like you have to show up and do A, B, C, and D, or else you're not worthy. So that's where you're coming from, okay? And you finally get into this loving relationship where they seem to worship the ground you walk on. And they're everything that you've been wanting. Everything's going great for a while. And you forget that you're still identifying as a person who gets abandoned, who gets let down, who gets cheated on, who gets disrespected in their relationships. So it's like your ego allowed you to call this person in and to see that, wow, things look a little different. But when things get real, you realize that you're still identifying and seeing things in this relationship through the lens of someone who's scorned, someone who is hurt, someone who is rejected. You're seeing things from the past. And then that's where a lot of people get so caught up. And then they start to think, oh, something's wrong. Oh, this isn't the relationship for me. Oh, I knew it wouldn't work out. I knew it was too good to be true. But if you really sit down and look at the issues that you've been having in your relationship, and you can take this and apply it to whatever else in your life, okay? But we're keeping the relationship example. So you have a little argument, a disagreement. And typically, when you have disagreements and your old reality from this version of you that was abandoned, lied to, cheated on, scorned, scarred, whatever, it's going to feel natural for you to put those glasses of how you're viewing things back on from the old perspective. Instead of looking at it, this little fight, this argument, this whatever it is, instead of looking at it from the version of, yes, I'm always chosen, They love me so much. Of course, they want to be with me. We keep growing stronger and stronger every day. Instead of looking at it from the lenses of that, the happiness, the growth, the care, you go back to, oh my God, I'm going to get abandoned again. Oh my God, this person is going to end up not respecting me. They're not going to appreciate me. Here it comes. It's starting now. What if you just chill the fuck out and remember who you are? Remember who you chose to be. Now, what if you apply that to every area in your life? Not just relationships, not just money, but everything in your life. You didn't rely so much on, oh my God, the 3D is looking this way. This is what happened in that last relationship. This is where things started to turn around for the worse when we got in that one argument. So, therefore, since I'm still living in the past and still choosing to see things from that, let's recreate that because that's way more comfortable and I know what to expect. I don't want to let myself down by expecting the best. My ego feels better when it knows what to expect. So I have to allow A and B to equal C. When in reality, you're not even A anymore. At least that's what you've been trying to tell yourself. That's what you've been trying to rewire your mind to say. And yet, when a circumstance pops up that makes you feel emotional or things are a bit rocky or something comes up and you choose to label that thing as bad or the start of something bad, yeah, of course, it's going to feel like you're spiraling or moving backwards because mentally you're choosing to live from those past lenses. So when that happens, and it will, if you're trying to change your reality and not even change your reality, change the way that you relate to specific things in your reality. So, for example, that we're using relationships, you're trying to change how you view yourself, how you view the people that you attract in relationships, just your relationship with relationships. You know what I mean? You want to feel better about that. When things pop up in your reality that look like the old, or even something as simple as, maybe this person annoyed you that day. And of course, reality is going to create your friend be like, hey girl, how are you? And this is where mental strength comes in. Let me just hold this because it keeps falling. Okay. That's where mental strength comes in. Are you going to focus on the bad because your brain wants to keep you safe and it's just easier for you to do so? You're like, yeah, he fucking got on my nerves today. And then you talk about it, you bitch about it, you spiral about it. And then now you're wondering, oh my gosh, is this gonna work? You fucking talked yourself out of the reality that you just created for yourself because something didn't look the way that you were judging that it was supposed to look. Maybe if you just wrote it out and stayed in the identity that, yeah, this is me now. I'm not someone who identifies as being abandoned in relationships. I'm not someone who identifies as being disrespected in relationships. I'm not someone who identifies as, oh, people just use me in relationships. They only want me for my money. They only want me for my looks. They'll get bored after we take certain steps and then they'll leave. Instead of going back to that old reality, what if you reminded yourself of who the fuck you are and what you said it was going to be? Because I don't know about you, but I'm tired of letting my emotions guide me back to the past, to the old version of myself. And I understand it's just the ego trying to protect me. I can see when it's happening now. And I've gotten to a point, I've gotten to a point where I'm able to identify, oh shit, okay, this thing is triggering me. Now, I'm pissed off right now. Let me take a breath and let me ask myself, am I viewing this from the lens of the past? Most likely, most of the time, it's yes. If you're triggered by something when it comes to how you want to relate to a certain thing that you're trying to change, you guys know what I'm saying. When you're triggered by that thing, typically it's because you're still choosing to identify or to see those things from the past version of yourself. Now, when you stop and pause and be like, wait a minute, which one am I choosing? Am I choosing to view this as someone who's cherished, as someone who's adored, as someone who, people feel lucky to be in a relationship with, someone who adores their partner, someone who is actively growing and thriving in love and relationships? Now, the same fight, the same thing that pissed you off, I guarantee you're going to be like, wait a minute. You're going to start to see the holes in how you're viewing things. You're going to start to see, wait a minute, okay, actually, I know that thing he did was annoying, but also, all of these amazing things happened the same day. So that's amazing. Love that. And then you eventually start to see, wait, I might be overreacting, or I might be responding. I don't want to say overreacting. I might be responding from the old version of me. So, of course, I'm triggered because I'm responding as that person. Now, if I was truly in this new state of being, certain things, this fight, this thing that made me feel insecure or made me feel abandoned, that wouldn't even be a thing because you don't identify someone who gets abandoned in relationships, who gets disrespected, blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? And just pay attention in your own life. I'm sure you probably noticed before this exact thing that I'm talking about, where it's like you feel like you're so close to this thing. It's like, dang, I was so close to a thriving, happy relationship. And then, like clockwork, this thing happened. He disrespected me. She disrespected me. He did this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you're not even realize that's the old you. I really hope this made sense because it's not all rainbows and butterflies when it comes to, you know, changing how you relate to certain things. Your brain is going to try to protect you. Your brain is going to try to recognize patterns and protect you. That's its job. Your job is to keep reminding it, oh no, honey, remember? This is me now. We don't need to get triggered by that. Now, I'm not saying stay in situations where you're genuinely being abused or, something like that. I'm not saying, oh, just manifest it away. No, get the fuck out of there. But be honest with yourself. Start to recognize how your brain is working when it comes to certain things. So I'll give you my own specific example. So for me, the examples that I'm using are true for me. I was someone who, identified as someone who got abandoned in relationships, who got left, who was just let down eventually. And I decided, you know what? I don't want that anymore. I'm ready for a happy, thriving relationship. And I'm not sure if I still have this video up, but in my previous relationship, about 2 years ago, I saw how, I saw my part in the relationship. How me coming from the state of, oh no, he's gonna hurt me, he's gonna abandon me, how me just thinking from that state caused me to see things so much differently than I needed to. There was so much more drama in my mind because I was preparing for the worst. My brain was helping me prepare for the worst. And what do you know? I created the worst. So, and of course, use your discernment. I'm speaking to you as if you know how to use discernment. You're not just going to stay in something that's awful for you. You're not going to stay in anything because you're coming from a lack mindset and you think that you have to, first of all. But yes, so I'm in something new now. I'm in a all thing, okay? And I started to see things falling into the place where my old identity was familiar with. Little things where I felt abandoned. I felt like I was lonely in the relationship. I felt like, oh my gosh, he's doing things to purposefully piss me off or try to make me insecure. And the thing is, even if he was doing those things, if my brain was not, used to looking for those things, because your brain filters out things that aren't a threat to you. So if I never had those experiences growing up, I never would have assigned that meaning to these circumstances. I would have assigned a different meaning to them. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not like my feelings of being pissed off were invalid. It's not like, oh, it's all my fault. I just need to view it differently. No, but I can own up to my part. And you know what's funny? It's so much more freeing than having to worry about, oh my gosh, all the problems. If there are problems, they will show up naturally, and I won't have to overthink and overanalyze and simmer and stew in them. Things will flow out and in of my life naturally as they should. I don't have to prepare myself for the worst. My only job is to remind myself when these things come up, oh yeah, you don't have to view it from that lens anymore because that's not you. Ah, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, what now? Are there any problems right now? No? Okay. Now, now that space is cleared up in my field, when actual problems show up, I can address them. I can work through them. When actual things pop up that I'm not okay with, that are crossing boundaries, I can address that. Instead of piling a bunch of shit from the past on top of that. And especially in relationships, I don't know about you, but I tend to date people who mirror me. I mean, that is how it works. That's just how reality works. So I notice when I'm, coming from this lens from the past, this other person does the same thing. And it's so fucking funny. But that helps me to kind of see what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, wait, okay, hold on. Let's take a breather. And guess what? As soon as I step into the identity that I actually choose, everything is fine. It's actually crazy. It sounds insane, but it's truth. This is the truth. So, if you're finally tired of going back and forth not staying in that identity. And it's gonna be a fight, okay? It is gonna be a fight. You are rewiring your brain. You're training your brain to not see certain things as threats and react accordingly. That doesn't just come overnight. That doesn't mean that when you start feeling things that, oh no, it's not going to happen now. That's not what that means. You are the one who assigns the meanings. So you can assign whatever meaning that you want to assign to you feeling emotional about something or you feeling a familiar emotion, emotional reaction to something. You can say, oh yeah, that's just my brain doing that thing that it used to do. But that's not me anymore, remember? Make it a game. Use your imagination. What's so crazy about that? You think it's not crazy to just keep your guard up and live from the past and just be on the lookout for triggers and things that look familiar to past circumstances that hurt you. You think that's not crazy? But yet, people think, oh, if you just expect the best, then something horrible is going to happen. Well, something horrible already fucking happened. So, what now? What are we going to do? All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. I will see you whenever I see you. Thanks for listening.